Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Around the Colosseum. We're changing things up. We're going to do a history of the man we know as Father Padge. This is going to be an entire series. Padge is breaking the virginity here. Yeah.
Okay.
And so we just want to let you guys get to know our wrestlers just a tiny bit better. So, First off, Padge, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing all right. I'm enjoying some chicken fajitas and I'm just enjoying some dinner and just hanging out. Was watching a little bit of TV and just got done feeding the dogs. I'm actually just enjoying a nice, relaxing Friday night.
So let's go in the beginning.
All right,
Padge, what got you into wrestling? Not necessarily what got you as a wrestler, but what made you fall in love with the sport?
Well, okay. I was about 3 or 4. My mom watched it every Saturday, I think, on TV. And I think it was Saturday Night Main Event or something like that. And I became a real quick, Hulk Hogan fan, a Hulkamaniac. So that era, pretty much what do they call it now? The Golden Age.
I think the Golden Age was the 1950s.
Oh, really? The 80s then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, and Ricky Steamboat were 3 guys I really paid attention to when I was younger. Hulk Hogan was larger than life, so of course I was a big fan of that guy. And I stopped watching for a few years, and during that time period where I stopped watching, apparently the NWO thing happened, and I had no clue about any of that. I was in class one day. I was in the 8th grade or 7th grade, something like that. And this kid in class was talking about Sting wrestling Hollywood Hogan. I didn't know who Sting was. I had no clue. I was under the impression when I heard Sting, I was like, I knew who the musician was, and I was like, oh, that musician guy's wrestling now? I didn't know nothing, And
I mean, that hurts me deep down inside, Padge, not knowing who Sting is.
What? Dude, I was in the 7th grade, and all I knew was, WWF guys,
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the divide. Definitely a lot of people, our generation, you were either WCW or WWF.
Yeah.
And I was WCW.
I got there. I became that way really quickly because, when I heard the guy say Hollywood Hogan, I was like, is he related to that Hulk Hogan guy? And the guy was like, what? And because I didn't know anything, I hadn't watched in 3 or 4 years. And the guy told me, he was like, oh, that is Hulk Hogan. Yeah, he's a bad guy now. And I was like, what? That happened to be on a Monday. So that night I put it on TNT and I watched Nitro for the first time ever. I was fucking hooked, man. I was hooked. I'd seen this guy I loved as my hero, and I loved him as the bad guy, man. I loved Hollywood Hogan. I thought that was a great gimmick. I thought that was a great portrayal of a villain. Made me want to be a villain myself, if I ever got to do it. But yeah.
I can see how that's a good portrayal of a villain. And I just remember people were so upset at the Bash when he turned.
Yeah. See, I didn't get to see it when it happened. Like I said, I started watching when he was already done the turn, but I did get to see the video later. We had the VHS. And I remember already knowing what was going to happen, but not actually getting to see it. And even getting to see it, knowing what was going to happen, was pretty sick. It was. I'd never, saw the promo or nothing like that. When he did the promo in the ring with all the garbage flying into the ring, that was pretty impactful. I thought it was great.
Oh yeah, and I kind of wish we could throw trash in the ring nowadays, but I mean, too dangerous for the wrestlers.
Too many crazy people out there.
So let's fast forward a few years to when you started training. Like, what made you take that leap from being a fan to being a wrestler?
Honestly, brother, it's all I ever wanted to do with my life, man. I didn't really didn't want to do anything else. I remember like, well, I didn't really ever want to do anything else besides that. I remember I thought my senior year in high school was going to take like forever, and then before I knew it, it was almost over. And I had made a plan to like find somewhere to go, find a school to go train at. I ended up finding one, but like way later than I wanted to, so I like had to throw a lot of stuff together last minute, make sure I had the money to go off to this camp. And I remember, like, I had worked at a job I hated. I worked at McDonald's, like just to save up this money so I could go to this shit, you know. And when it ended up happening, because I've been an athlete my whole life. I'd wrestled in high school. I played football in high school. I was a martial artist my whole life. But like pro wrestling training was like getting there and like getting in there is like the toughest thing I've ever put myself through. Like crazy,
So
crazy difficult.
before we go too far off of being the martial artist,
Yeah.
go ahead and name drop that famous martial artist guy you know.
Well, there's several of them, man. um,
The one that when the eyes of the ranger are upon you.
um, I wouldn't say I know him. I met him when I was a child. He knew my father, you know.
Close enough. Close enough.
But yeah, I met him a couple times when I was a kid. Yeah, Chuck Norris. Yeah, he was cool. Um, golly, I was such a big fan of his growing up. And my dad was like always just nonchalant about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've known him for a long time." And then one time they were hanging out, and I just happened to be there, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And then you see all these old videos when they would fight each other or spar each other and stuff. And like, but yeah, yeah. So I met him a few times growing up. He's a cool dude. Like he's just a bad dude. Like you know, like those jokes are jokes, but like for real, they've got some basis behind them. You know, like the Chuck Norris jokes.
All right, now that we got that name drop off, go ahead and continue about like being the athlete and all that.
Um, well, it's just something different, you know, because like there's certain things you learn in pro wrestling that you have to fight your body's natural reaction to, you know, and stuff like that. And you know, being your natural self and your whole life, and then you get to start training, and you're just like, oh, I have to follow this certain way, or I'm gonna fuck myself up. You have to learn all of that, and then you have to keep that in mind every time you're in there. I mean, it becomes second nature at some point, but you know what I'm saying,
Right.
But yeah, um, it was it was like I said, it was super hard on my body and everything to figure it out, but it was worth it in the end. I got to end up doing it full time for a long time because I was a big guy who could do things that a lot of big guys can't do. You know,
I was listening to Talk is Jericho earlier today, and he had Marina Shafir on there, and she was talking about because she came from martial arts background. You're talking about training your body. It reminded me of she was like, well, when you're doing judo, taekwondo, all that, you have to no sell, whereas in wrestling you have to sell.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
And that just the way you were talking, it, doing what your body's not used to, just kind of
yeah.
popped into my head that way.
No, it's a great analogy. It actually makes perfect sense. Yeah, no, and she's right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. There's more of a storytelling aspect to it than actual fighting. But yeah,
So, is there anybody that you trained with that you still have matches against today, or is you still see around?
that I trained with, the last person that I really kept in contact with there retired about 4 or 5 years ago. Runs a garage. He's a mechanic. So no, as far as I know, I mean, it. You've heard that it's like there's a huge dropout rate. You know what I mean? And so when we were training, there was like 40 something of us, you know what I mean? And like before we were all said and done, the class was down to like 12 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I've just seen it with Empire's trainees.
mhm.
Like, there's been so many drop out. I was joking with Malachi the other day. I'm not even going to learn their names until they're going to be here in 6 months because the last person whose name I learned disappeared on us.
Yeah. Hmm. That's a good way to be because like, why invest your time in them if they're not going to do the same? I got you. But uh, yeah, I mean, like I said, is it maybe one or two that might still work once in a while, but as far as people that still work as often, I'm it as far as I remember. But I mean, that's been 22 and a half years. You know what I mean?
So you debuted in 2003, is what you're saying?
2002. You know,
Okay.
July.
So
Yeah.
I did the math in my head quick. I mean,
You're almost there, buddy. Was it?
yeah. So I get a little like treat, right, for being close. It's that generation.
Yeah, man. There you go.
Do you remember anything either positive or negative about your first match?
Hmm. Yeah, my first match was a hell of a was a doozy. Um, I remember getting put into a match because the guy that was supposed to work the U.S. champion was big dude. He's about 300 pounds, and I was about 300, 310 back then. And he was supposed to work the U.S. champion, and he got into a four-wheeler accident and got hurt like 2 days before the show. And I had just finished training. Like, this was my first show. And I was supposed to just be the big dude in the battle royal at the beginning of the show. And I get pulled from that and told I'm going to work the U.S. champion because I'm roughly the other dude's size. And I'm like, that's crazy to me, but I'm excited, but I'm nervous as fuck. I puked. I remember that. I puked before the match because now, like a battle royal, there's like 20 dudes in there. Not everybody's watching one dude. Like now, I get put into a singles match. Everybody's just watching me and the other guy. You know what I mean? Like, and
Oh yeah.
that made me nervous as hell.
And not only
But
that, it's a title match that you're jumping into.
yeah, yeah, I wasn't ready for that at all. And but we go out there and this poor dude. Um, it's a pretty good match. It goes about I don't know 10 minutes maybe. Dude, I knocked this dude out legit. Like when I threw him into the corner, I just hit him with a forearm shot, and he turned his head where I did, and I pinged him right in the temple with my elbow. You know, just
Yeah.
knocked him, just knocked him stupid. So, like, he goes for the cover. I help him kick out. You know, because like fuck, I'm not about to, you know, do this in my debut match. But we end up getting him back to consciousness. I just said hit me with something, and I remember he hits me with a DDT. We went home. We get to the back, and my arm is all swelling up right here because I hit him pretty fucking hard, square off in the noggin, and his head's all like he's pounding stuff, of course, and we were both just kind of beat up from it. And he told me I hit too damn hard, which I did. I hit him too damn hard, you know. And then, but it was just a back and forth kind of thing. We were doing real good until that one moment, and I just, you know, because that was kind of for a long time that messed with me because it was my first match ever, and I got put into a spot I shouldn't have got put in, but like I did the match, and he got hurt, and then that made me feel bad for a little bit, you know, and then. But then later on, you kind of develop that mentality. It's like you can't get too mad about getting hit in the face in a wrestling match. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and accidents happen. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure you wrestled rookies and they hit you too hard at some point.
Oh yeah. 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 A few times.
You've been in this business 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
I know you've made a few close friends.
Oh yeah.
Um, what are some of your favorite matches with those individuals?
Oh man. So there's a lot. One of my favorite feuds I was ever involved in was me and my well, it's like one of my best friends now, but Terry Pantera for like all of 2015 and most of 2016 were like involved in this feud. And like we would just take it to a different level each time. The first time it started out as a singles match. Or no, the first time it started out as like me invading BCW. This was my first time ever there. And then I beat up Kevin Sanchez the first day I met him there at BCW. To send a message to Terry. But what ended up happening was it tag match with Terry and them. They went over. I've met Damian Mort that first night here. He was my partner right out of the gate. Him and some other dude. They were in a team called Nemesis, and they were my partners that night. And I said I was coming back because I wanted a piece of Terry, not no tag team stuff. So then I got a shot at Terry at the first time I ever worked at Empire ever. It was called Empire Championship Wrestling. And it was at this place called the Underground Arena. And I worked Terry there the first time. And I beat him, but like dirty. I hit him with a low blow and then hit him with the baptism. And then the second time, we just took it up every time. The next time we faced each other was a few months later. And we did a show in Buffalo Valley, Oklahoma. It's like we sold out this entire high school gym. It was crazy. But we fought in an 8-sided ring, so that was an adjustment. I remember that. And then he won that one. And then he tried to do the handshake thing at the end. I shook his hand, I hugged him, and then I kicked him right in the fucking, like right between the legs, and then started beating on him. And then, because, come on, man. I don't hardly ever get beat, so he got me on that one. And then the next one, we took it to another level. It was the last man standing match, you know what I mean? Which neither one of us won. We were both knocked out at the count of 10. So then we did the final match, and he put me over. Like, I ended up winning it clean there in the end, and then we united and became Team Holy Hell, and we won the tag team title. We've won them twice. Now we're currently the Buzzsaw Championship Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Terry, I had a good feud for the Oklahoma Championship in 2016 against Psycho Mike. He's a retired guy. He's retired from the ring, but he's also a good friend of mine.
Isn't he the one we just inducted into the Empire Hall of Fame in November, or is this a different Mike?
No, you're talking about Maniac Mike. Yeah, no, this is Psycho Mike. He was a Mid-South wrestler. He's a real good friend of mine. It's actually the reason I ended up moving here to Oklahoma. Moving back here to Oklahoma.
I think he owes you since you're stuck here now. Well, not necessarily stuck here, but I think he owes you big time that you're back here.
Man, I love it here. I love being back here. I'd rather be here than there.
I mean, I guess the there depends on where it was. Because didn't you live in Texas for a bit?
Yeah, that's where I was at. I was in West Texas. Yeah.
So okay, yeah, never mind. You gotta owe him to get you back into Oklahoma then, because Texas just
Well, we have things here that they don't have there.
Trees.
Yeah. Well,
hills.
Trees. Yeah. But, yeah.
No, that's the good grass. The herb. If we want to go our parents' generation stuff.
We have that there, but I don't like waiting for Dave to get off of work, so I'm glad I can just walk around the corner and get it here anywhere I want.
I mean, you probably don't even have to walk around a corner to get it. Someone will probably like Uber it to you or something.
I get it delivered too, but I like to look at it. You know what I mean?
So we mentioned before we started that one of your favorite matches was on a tribute card to your dad. Go ahead and tell us about that a little.
Well, it was BCW, the April, well, I know the exact date, April 6th, 2019. Terry Pantera and I were the BCW Tag Team Champions. It was the 2-year anniversary of us being BCW Tag Team Champions. And we went out there and we had a tag team match against a team called BMF.
Kevin Sanchez and
No,
Russo? No, not.
Kevin was part of it, but he wasn't in that match. It was Mr. Russo and Kareem Sadat, and taking on me and Terry. Kevin wasn't licensed at the time, so he wasn't working.
Okay.
But we went out there, we had the match, and we dropped the titles to him, and it was kind of a bummer. But so I'm in the back. And, Terry comes up to me and he was like, "You know, you're not done, right?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna do the main tonight. You're gonna do the championship open challenge." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay." And he goes, "Here, I brought you this." And he hands me a bag, and I open it, and it's this my dad's gi from when my dad was fighting, sized somehow to fit me. My dad was about 4 inches taller than me. My dad was 6'6", and I'm 6'2". So they got it sized for me. It was a nice little surprise. And then I said, "Okay, well, if I'm going to do this, this is what I want the announcer to call me instead." So I had him use my real name one night only instead of being Padge or Father Padge. I was Josh Padgett, because I didn't want to be any character or anything like that. If this was going to be for him, then I wanted to just be his son that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you go back and watch the match, I don't think I did a wrestling move in the match. It was mostly all martial arts stuff. Yeah.
I mean, that's really cool. I mean, what better way to honor a man who had so much influence on you, you know?
Yeah, but they got me pretty good because, like, I didn't really know about it. And then, like, Terry had gotten a hold of a bunch of my family, and they were in the crowd. And my brother made his comeback. Cardinal Sin came back after being gone for, like, 2 years just for that one night to, like, be part of it with me. So, I mean, yeah, that's my favorite moment in my career, I'd say, in my entire career. And it's not even the greatest match I've ever had. It's just my favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be the best for it to be a favorite. It's got to have that just emotional feeling.
Yeah, dude. And that was the night I debuted the Black Mass as a finish.
Nice.
Well, because that was when my dad knocked people out with, so that's why I used that.
I mean,
it just looks good, you know.
I mean, that's a good bit of trivia, knowing the origin of why you use the Black Mass.
Yeah. Because of him, he's a bad son of a bitch, dude.
So, let's go to Empire Pro Wrestling as we know it today. Not necessarily current storyline. We can work our way up to that.
That's fine.
But what were some of your early stories for Empire? Because you're a day oneer guy, right?
Yeah, I've been around since they changed it to Empire Pro. Yeah. I've wrestled for Empire Championship Wrestling from 2015 till I've been there since the name change all the way to now. So yeah. Man, that's a good one. I had quite a few good stories there. One of my favorite things I did there was I was the leader of a group called the Entitled, and were you there for that?
No, I was not there for the Entitled.
Man, Entitled was myself, Logan Knight, the Rebel Hearts, Tyson James, Guy Sterling, and CM Burnham, all in this one group. And I was still undefeated then. I hadn't lost a match in like 6 years. The 6 years I've been working for Empire Championship / EPW, and that was the big story, the big gimmick, because I happened to be heavyweight champion And the night I defended it for the first time was against Kevin Sanchez in a casket match. And after the casket match was over, it was when we formed the Entitled, because we had Kevin Sanchez's best friend was Tyson James, and Tyson James ended up shutting the casket on Kevin for me and turning on him and making sure I kept the title. And it was it was a huge shock. A lot of people were pissed, and that was, as soon as that was over, out came Logan and the Rebel Hearts, and we started the Entitled that night. Like it was the first ever, the night everything changed.
And the key word is everybody was pissed. If everybody's pissed, you know you did it right.
Mm-hmm. I was pretty happy with it. Yeah. I think
so. What broke up the Entitled then?
Man, okay. So there, something happened with one of the Rebel Hearts. They got hurt. I can't remember which one it was, and Logan and I just happened to get booked against each other at a BCW show, and I kind of had to step up. Was the leader of the Entitled, so I had to kind of remind him where he comes from and that he was getting a little big for his britches. And I had the match with him at BCW. And everybody that knew about the Entitled was at BCW, so there was no hiding it. And we had the match. I beat him, and then when it was over, I was telling him, I was like, "Now just fall in line and everything," and he did. And then we had a tag match at Empire, and it was supposed to be me and Logan. It was me and Logan against Kareem Sadat and Adrian Vega. And there was a misunderstanding. I went to kick Kareem Sadat, and he ducked, and I kicked Mike Andrews, Logan's manager. Logan didn't like that, and he shoved me, and I don't like that. So I black masked Logan and then punched him a bunch of times, and then Vega came in and took the win. I just stood there and watched him do it. I wasn't going to stop him. And then I decided, well, I've had enough of this. Let's play nice with the teammates shit. So I grabbed the microphone, and I just said I was much better on my own by myself. I'll just do it again by myself. I want my championship back. The Entitled is no more, and that's what it was. That was it. That was the final straw for me. Logan had failed me too many times at that point. And he was the strongest link I had. So when that happened, I just said, I'm going to do it myself.
And that wasn't the only group you've been in. I don't remember what they were called. I was just getting into Empire when it was happening. But I remember you being with the Saints before. And I think you might have been feuding with Burnham.
Oh, man. When was this?
It would have been about 2-3 years ago. You guys were still... It was coming right out of COVID. You guys still filmed stuff in the VFW.
Oh. Yeah, we were in a group at All Star Pro. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot. I was with the Saints in more than one group. Yeah, there was a group called Legendary, and yeah, Burnham would always. Yeah, Burnham was the mouthpiece for that group. That was actually where. That's the storyline where you found out Burnham's my daddy. You know what I mean? Like, it was always just a running joke between him and I, like, because he looks older than he really is. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
it's just the beard and the fucking mullet. I'll never get over it. But like, it's just the whole thing. And I was just joking around. And I was standing next to him, and somebody said, I think it was Drake Gallows mentioned something. I was like, it's nice you bring your dad to the shows or whatever. And I was like, ah. And then, of course, I enjoy some herbs. So then I'm stupid, and I say shit to him every time I see him. Like, hey, Pops, that was the drive, and all this stuff. And then it manifested itself into an actual storyline, which was hilarious. But it was a great freaking storyline. It was one of my favorite things I've ever done as far as instant heel turn and instant heel heat, you know? Like, it was because nobody expected it, because I was riding high just on the tail end of this gimmick I'd been doing called High Times, where we were the first ever like open about being pothead wrestlers, you know what I mean? Like, and I was coming right off the tail end of that, and this storyline popped up, and I was like, man, I'd be stupid not to take that spot, you know? Like, this is crazy. I want to go back to being the fucking heel anyway. And then Burnham, they came up with this idea, the booker at that company and Burnham, they both came up with this idea, and I was like, that's fucking sick. Let's do it. I can go back to get some heel heat. And so we did, you know?
Which do you prefer working, heel or face?
Dude, honestly, I love being a heel. It's easy. Like, it's easy as fuck, dude. Like, I like it because, like I said, when I was a kid, you know, like I had stopped watching when Hulkamania was at its peak, and then when I started watching again, it was Hollywood Hogan, and I think I really just enjoyed the heel stuff more. So I think I always really wanted to be the villain, you know, be the bad guy, and so yeah, I'd say being a heel is more fun. But there's those certain crowds that just won't let me be a heel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I can understand that that enjoying the heel stuff more, because like Ric Flair, the dirtiest player in the game, like even when he was a baby face, which was very rare, he still did those dirty, underhanded moves. And we see them every now and then. I think it would just be wonderful to get some of those moves back.
Yeah.
Like the distract the ref, low blow, the all that stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, actually, we just did that the other day.
Yeah.
Burnham got up on the apron, and I punched Badger right in the fucking boys, and then then Bishop curb stomped him and won the match.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great. I love that. I like heels, but it has to be the right heel for me to like.
I understand. I'm the same. I don't like just like stupid idiot heels, you know, like fucking comic relief bullshit. Uh, I mean that's good to an extent, but uh, dude, one of my favorites of all time heels is JBL. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a big fan of that guy. I just loved his heel work. Loved the initial run of JBL that we got when he got the title, and he had it for like almost a year.
Yeah, and like he's just such a great wrestler. He doesn't have to do much to hate him.
Yeah.
Like he just has that I can stand like this and you're gonna hate him because he's got that arrogance about him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Man, as far as okay, I just did the math up here. I've been doing this a little over 22 years. I think 19 and a half, maybe 20 years of that's been heel work. You know what I mean? Like,
so it sounds like you need to do a babyface run for like 2-3 years.
That's the plan towards the end. Spoiler.
Yeah, but like people have the end, and then the end's not the end.
Yeah.
Something always happens. They get dragged back in. They can't give it up for whatever reason.
See, I'm worried about that because I've been very steadfast in where I want to stop. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be done at the age of 45. That way I'm not in my 50s yet. I can still enjoy the rest of my 40s. I have grandchildren now, so, you know, like, just, you know, but one of my best friends is Terry Pantera, and when I met him, he said he was about to stop, and I met him about 11 years ago, so,
I mean, even if you stop the in-ring stuff, you could always become a manager.
Yeah.
I mean, Step Stool Tommy D.
That's probably the plan, honestly. Like, I wouldn't be able to just stay away from the business, I don't think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, old school, man. As you know, you get injured or stop wanting to wrestle, you become a manager, or you become commentary, or you become a producer for matches.
Yeah. I've never done any of those. So, well, no, I've done commentary a bunch, but I've never really played the part of a manager other unless it was like a one-off thing where one of my guys is out there. But like,
Yeah, and I mean, with your current stable, you have the chance to play manager a little more, because I don't know how much more it's going to grow, but you currently have the Saints as of last month or this month.
yeah, man.
You got Bishop Simon, you got Deacon Hendricks, and yourself that are wrestlers. Then you got Burnham.
Don't forget, I've got Cardinal Betton.
See, because I live 3 hours away, the only Oklahoma City promotion I really see is Empire. So yeah, when you guys go do other stuff outside of there,
Well, you
it's not on my radar.
You were there when he joined. It's the Wolf of War.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Again, one of
Cardinal.
those guys kind of just disappeared, so I don't remember him at times.
Yeah, no, he's well, he has a lot of other dates he has to work, and some of them conflict with Empire dates. So.
I mean, that's understandable. It seems like every promotion wants to run with Saturday nights because that's the night. Because I know Texoma Pro Montego says they run every third Saturday. Empire Pro runs every third Saturday.
Yep.
I want to say WA runs the first and third, or no, the second and fourth Saturdays.
Yeah, I think that's right.
WFC, I don't think they're as regular, but they do have like set dates that they run.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Man, so speaking of like Empire, and you were asking me like favorite stories there. Oh, there's been so many. Um, my favorite one that I've done there. Oh, that's. I think you were there for this whole thing, so you can back me up on this. The entire feud I had with Bishop Simon, formerly Jason Simon, was one of my favorite things I've ever done there. Because like he was just some nobody kid that was supposed to be a one-off match with me, and then he kept coming back and coming back and coming back.
Yes, and that was a good feud. If it didn't win Feud of the Year, I think it should have.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
It's like that final match you guys had.
Oh yeah.
I know Simon jumped out of the ring.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he. So I want to say you took like 2 curb stomps, and he took three. Yeah, like
The last one he hit me with, he came off the second rope.
yeah. I mean, it was just great storytelling.
Yeah, it was really it was my favorite match last year, I think, honestly. It was definitely like the story we told, but you could definitely tell it was the end of something. You know what I mean? Like it was final end, and then that pin at the end, I called that on the fly where I just put my foot on his chest and got the 3 count. Like because I thought that was the perfect way to just like final knife in the heart kind of thing, and then to carry him out and then put him in the back of my SUV, like that,
Yes.
And now look at him, dude. The dude's kicking all kinds of ass. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So we've talked about some of your favorite things. What's been some of your least favorite storylines? Let's dish that dirt along with the good stuff.
Least favorite storylines? Oh man, see, might have a problem with that because like I can't really think of anything I didn't really have fun doing. Man,
I mean, it doesn't even have to be a least favorite storyline. It could be like a least favorite opponent. Like they didn't wipe their ass or they shat on you in the middle of a match. Like, or they just.
Okay, well, okay. It's not. It's nothing against him. It's just. All right. I was wrestling this. I was having a match with Tyson James, and I threw him into the corner, and I hit a European uppercut. And I used to do this combo. I think this is why I don't do this anymore. But I threw him in the corner, and I hit one European, and then two Europeans, and then a back elbow is what I used to throw. Well, I hit the first one, no problem. I hit the second one, and he starts making some weird noise. But I'm in the middle of this combo, so I throw the elbow, and it turns out I knocked out two of his bottom teeth with the second European uppercut. Just straight knocked him out, and he's going and I'm in the middle of a match. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he hasn't told me anything. For all I know, he's just making weird fucking noises. So I throw him into the corner, close on him. He comes out. He goes, "You knocked out my teeth," and I was like, "Shut the fuck up." He goes, "Let's go home." I'm like, "Okay, you know the finish is a kick, right?" Like so, spin him around, hit the fucking kick, knocked out another one. Fucking 1, 2, 3. And then I get to the back, and I was like, I didn't realize I was Father Padge DDS in this motherfucker. You know what I mean? But that was probably my least favorite. I wouldn't even say it was the opponent. I think it was just the fact that what happened to the poor bastard. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'd probably go with that. I don't think I don't have a least favorite. Man, that's a hard one to think of, man. I can't really think of anybody I just hated being in the ring with.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, a lot of people either just don't have that or don't want to dish it. We'll move on. That's fine.
I just don't have it
Let,
really.
let's go to some of the stuff outside the ring.
All right.
Let's start with, in my mind, it's probably not even the same. It's probably not the right chronological order, but in my mind, it evolved this way. So we're going with what my mind says.
Okay.
First thing I knew of you doing outside the ring was caveman comedy with Kareem Sadat. And I think there was a few others.
Yeah.
Like, tell the fans a little about that.
So I've done some stand-up comedy a little bit over the years. I did an album a few years ago, and a few of us are actually really kind of good at it. So we got this group together. Myself and Tyson James started this group called Caveman Comedy, and everybody on it, except for like one person, is a worker, is a professional wrestler. And Kareem Sadat, he came up with this idea to do prop comedy, but he wanted to do it dressed as like a clown. And I was like, sure, man. Like, this is actually like his idea was to get this group together. We just ended up finally doing it. And he was really funny. Like, he would call me up. We would work on some jokes together because he was kind of nervous. I won't lie to you about that. He was pretty nervous when he would get up there sometimes. He had this thing he would say that would like help him calm down while he was on stage. He just kept calling himself an awkward motherfucker. And he was like, I'm an awkward motherfucker, sorry. But he was just saying that like every few minutes. But he was really good. Tyson, most of the time, would host it. So he would do like 10 minutes of jokes and then go on. And the first one, we did it 5 times over there at that VFW on Penn. But the first time we did it, I guess you could say main evented. I went on last, you know, and it was 35 minutes. The guy that went on before me is a guy named Brian Dixon, but he is wrestled under the name Gavin Dixon. He's also who I won the title from that night in the match that was dedicated to my father. But he he's actually like the best out of all of us. Like at the comedy, he's actually made something with it. He's traveling. He's doing stand up comedy everywhere. He's doing great with it, and I'm very, very happy that we could help him get his start with that. But yeah, we did a few of those shows, and the first one was good. The second one was our best show ever. We had sold out the place; it was completely packed in there, and we also did. It was Tyson's birthday, so we did a roast for. We roasted him after the main comedy part. It's pretty fucking brutal, but like it was a lot of fun. Got a stand up comedy album out. I was in a rock comedy band called Impotent French Fries for a long time. We did rock comedy stuff, like rock country, just all kinds of music, just all funny stuff. Kind of like if you took Tenacious D and put some. What the fuck are you doing? If you did Tenacious D and you put like some country twang on it, you know, a little southern rock sound to it, that's kind of stuff we used to do. I've been doing that myself lately. I've been getting back into the music thing, but I don't really have a band, so I have to go in and do everything myself and then edit it together, you know.
Which actually leads me to the next thing, which, like I said, may not be chronological, but you're a musician also. And
yeah.
people actually are familiar with your work because it's God's Works theme.
Yeah, that's actually me singing that theme song there. Yeah, that's a song I wrote. Well, I already had the blank music track, and I didn't have anything to put on it. And I was like, man, who really does their own entrance music anymore? So, you know, I went in there and I was talking it over with Deacon, and we were trying to come up with something, and he helped me write a few of those lyrics, and then I went in there, busted out in like 3 or 4 takes, and after I sent it to him, he was like, fuck yeah. So I was like, all right, it works, you know. So.
Oh yeah, and it definitely like fits your group and has like a catchy tune to it. Because like when it's going, I just kind of want to headbang to that. Is it DDT into Black Mass? Or is it Black Mass? Yeah, it's DDT into Black Mass.
Stunned straight into a black mass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Stunned straight into a black mass. Yeah. That was actually, I'm not going to lie to you, that was actually just lazy writing. I couldn't think of what to use as a bridge in that part. So I just put our 2 finishing moves right there. But it worked.
All right. Now, we're going to have people asking and probably commenting, that cat that just came in, what's his name? We have to appease the cat lovers.
This is Twix.
Twix, is he a left one or a right one?
He's obviously split down the middle. No, he's he's a good. He's an old boy. He's 11. Yeah.
Well, he looks good for being 11.
Yeah, he does. He's got no claws. We got him that way. I wouldn't do that to a cat. Like he came that way, but he's got no front claws. But he's a bad little son of a bitch. He's out there beating up the other cats in the neighborhood.
And then before, so that we make the dog lovers happy, also you have Jericho and
yeah. I have 4 dogs. I have Jericho is my golden retriever. He's heard me say his name. He's a golden retriever, Alaskan Husky, Australian Shepherd mix. And then I've got I've got this big son of a bitch. He's that's actually quite accurate. But no, he's a half red-nosed pit, half French Mastiff. His name is Ozzy Posborn, Prince of Barkness. And then I have Axel Snow, who's just the stupidest damn dog I've ever owned in my life. I've seen him walk into a wall he was looking right at. And I got Sookie Sue, who's another red-nosed pit, French Mastiff mix. And she's the only female for a reason. Yeah, so I have a bunch of pets. I got 4 dogs and a cat. And,
All right.
about it.
So now that I think we've hit the cat demographic, the dog demographic, and the wrestling demographic, is there any parting words you want for the fans to just know going forward, or any insight from you to them? Take it away.
I got a few things I'll say. I've been part of there's been a group that I've been the leader of for years in wrestling since 2009. It's, I've done it and then taken a break doing it, but I'm back doing it now. It's called God's Work. I've done different variations of it over the years with different members. The second or third version of it had the Saints in it. Now they're back in it. But this newest version that's running wild over Empire Pro Wrestling is myself, my right hand of destruction, Bishop Simon, my deacon of destruction, Deacon Hendricks. My Saints are back in the fold, like I said before. I've got Cardinal Benton, and I've got the greatest mouthpiece there is, CM Burnham. And this is by far my favorite version of God's Work. This run with Deacon Hendricks with the tag titles was one of my favorite ones I've ever had. Kind of sad that it's over, but I guess it's on to bigger and better things for me and God's Work, because we ain't going nowhere for a while. And you guys got to come check out Empire Pro Wrestling on March 15th at the EPW Ballroom. And you got to come check out Buzzsaw Championship Wrestling on April 5th in Guthrie, Oklahoma at 215 Fairgrounds Road. Well, where myself and Terry Pantera will be defending the BCW Tag Team Championships. You got my show coming up on April 26th. I'll have a venue update very soon. Renegade Wrestling Entertainment coming back after like 15-year hiatus, because I guess it's time for me to do that again. Let's see what else. We got Majestic Championship Wrestling coming up on the 14th of March at Rudy Allen Steakhouse in Wewoka, Oklahoma, and I'll be defending my heavyweight championship there against Drake Gallows, which is always one of my favorite people to be in the ring with. Let's see what else. Currently the All-Star Pro Wrestling Mid-American Champion. I think that's what that one is. Yes, the Mid-American Champion. Shout out to the guys at All-Star Pro. Just keep an eye on God's Work. Like, we're just going to keep kicking ass. Don't even know what's in store. I'm still kind of reeling and pissed off about what happened at the last show. So I got to get my guys regrouped, and we're going to figure out what the next step is, because can't just let an injustice like that go unpunished. You were there. You saw it.
Yeah. And it will be interesting to see what's coming up in Empire, not only for God's Work, but as a whole, with the new majority owner and Kevin Sanchez now being an active wrestler over the commissioner. So, yeah.
I don't see... Oh, okay. He needs to stay out of my way or my line of sight for quite a while. Let's just put it that way. He doesn't need my attention. Put it that way. Now he's back on the roster. Are you shitting me? Okay. I'm already looking at you. Don't make me use both eyes. Let me just put it that way. I already owe him anyway. He got lucky at that Kareem Sadat Memorial Tournament thing. I should have just finished him after kicking him in the face 4 times. It's okay. It's all right. I've been working there for 10 years now, and I've lost 3 matches. I think I'm doing okay.
Indeed you are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Around the Colosseum. a look at the career of Father Padge. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah.